Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Falcons on Air, where we recap everything that's been going on at Briarwoods. I'm your host, Meekle,
And I'm your host, Anjali.
and for today's episode, we're recapping the Briarwoods varsity football season so far. Today's episode is very special as we are joined today by a few of the athletes on the team, Trey Dudley and Landon Sonnenfeld. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
My name is Trey. I'm a junior. Play running back and outside linebacker.
My name is Landon. I'm also a junior, and I play tight end, wide receiver, and also outside linebacker.
We appreciate having you guys here today. Now that we've all introduced ourselves, let's just get straight into it. I first want to talk about preseason. I already talked about a good chunk of it last episode, but I wanted to get your guys' insight because personally, just watching you guys practice twice a day, especially in the heat, left me feeling exhausted. So what was that like for you guys, considering you all were actually out there preparing for the upcoming season?
I think that even though it's really hot out, we still have to prep. We still have to prep and get ready for our keys. Every game's a big game, as our coaches say. So I feel like to not take any practices off is a main point.
Well, I spent most of my preseason, recovering from an injury, but even then, I still had to get my mental reps because it's important to just understand the X's and O's, and so just because I was injured doesn't mean that I could have just skipped that. So that was important.
And was this preseason any different from other past preseasons, or was it pretty similar?
I think this year coaches were reminding us a lot more that they're higher stakes because they knew everybody knew and in our hearts that we had what it takes to be a better team last year. So things were a lot more intense. Knowing your responsibilities is way more important now. And so, yeah.
Okay, and we also saw that you guys had met with former Briarwoods alum Trace McSorley, and you guys were even out on the field working with him. So what was it like meeting someone who was in the same position as you guys, but just a few years earlier?
It was actually really cool to meet him. Meeting somebody in that position, you get an opportunity to learn from their experiences because obviously they know more than you, and teaching me new concepts that I didn't exactly know before. So it's really nice to kind of learn that.
I think that meeting someone that's been through what we have and they've succeeded and they've got to the next level is really, it can be inspiring for a lot of kids. But that's what a lot of kids, that's what their goal is when they play sports. So it kind of just helps push them extra to make sure they get to where they want to be.
And was there any specific lesson or advice that really stuck with you from meeting with him, or not in general? Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's get into on season. The team's on a roll right now with 6 wins and only 1 loss. That's a huge improvement from 2 years ago when you guys were only able to win 1 game while losing 9. How do you guys feel knowing that the hard work you all are putting in is actually producing results, considering now the team's considered to be one of the best in the state?
Just gives us an incentive to just keep doing what we're doing because, a lot of people, they can earn success, but they can't maintain it because it kind of gets to the head, and our coaches do everything they can to make sure that we're grounded and, keep doing what we need to do to keep winning because it comes with a price.
I feel like as we are, as Trey said, our coaches kind of don't let it get to our heads, and they're always focused on the next game because even though we're off to a good start, that could easily slip away. So I think it's the main point of we can't let it slip because we know what we're capable of. So.
And I'm sure the playoffs are in the conversation for you guys since the season is coming to an end in just a few weeks. So any thoughts on that? Is there anything specifically you want to accomplish?
I think that, small details are becoming way more important now because, at the end of the season, a lot of people can start slipping up, but, we know that we can be playoff bound. We win these next 2 games. So just taking responsibility and just really dialing in even more than you were before is the key to having a deep playoff run.
I feel like small details is kind of what wins playoff games because everybody's obviously talented once you get to that position. So small details is what wins games, and we need to buckle down and finish the small assignments now so we're comfortable when we get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Do you think what happened last year at the playoffs is motivating you to work even harder, considering you guys got out the first round?
Absolutely. It was hard, just losing just like that because, especially in the first half when we were up and we, weren't able to keep that lead going. So, that just like keeps us motivated to just like do our jobs even more.
Yeah.
So we're doing everything we could possibly can to make sure that we don't get bounced out the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a first playoff loss in the first round is really hard on coaches and players.
Mhm.
And I think that our coaches especially are taking that to heart, and they're going to prepare extra too, which so are we, to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the homecoming game, considering it's the only game you guys have lost so far. The team had a win streak of 4-0, which hadn't been done since 2012 when the Falcons went to the state championships, until homecoming night when they went up against the Fort Hill Sentinels and they lost 28-0. Do you guys want to explain what happened that night?
That's a good program.
Yeah.
They live in a certain part of Maryland where like football is just like really a important piece of like their culture, and so teams like that really just like being a good team and like doing what they need to do. Like that team hardly made any mistakes at all. That's what we're trying to become too. So while losses like that are rough and they definitely don't feel good, they're probably what gives you the most lessons to learn from. So we can take a lot from that game.
I feel like they held themselves better that day. I'm not saying like overall necessarily, but that day I feel like they came to play and we just didn't. And some of our small details to assignment that we worked on, we couldn't perform with. And at the end, it really hurt us. But like Trey said, we could take a lot away from that game, so it's not necessarily a whole loss.
So a question that everyone seems to ask is what motivates you and what keeps you guys going, especially after loss. But you guys have kind of mentioned this previously. But something that I've always wondered is how do you guys stay grounded when you are winning as many games as you do?
Winning comes with the price, and so the more you win, the higher the stakes are, and also the more you win, the more that people want to see you lose. And so, just like when you're grounded, it's a lot easier to just like kind of maintain like what you're doing, like, and for us specifically, like after a certain amount of days, we just pretend like the game that we just played didn't matter and we just get right back to work for the next week. So that's really like how we stay grounded. But yeah, there's just like, I think just like looking ahead always is like what really can like just keep you grounded. That's like what keeps us up.
Yeah.
I feel like we have big goals as a program this year, which we should. And looking ahead, and not too far ahead, but looking ahead into other games that we know we can play in keeps us grounded because, it kind of, we have to realize that every game matters, and so when every game matters, you can lose at any point in time. So we kind of stay grounded and stick to our keys to get us through each game.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's something that your coaches also drill into you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know for you, Landon, you've already committed to the Virginia Military Institute for Lacrosse, and I've seen so many cases where once an athlete commits, they kind of just tune out and stop caring. But I haven't noticed that with you, so what's keeping you going, especially since football isn't like your main sport?
I think that keeping active is a big thing too, and sports can revolve off each other, like different moves and whatever, and such forth in both sports can only help me with my lacrosse game as long as my football game. So I feel like I can't give up and start to slack because that's not really like the mindset that I want to have, especially going into college where it's going to be a whole lot different than high school.
Yeah.
So I have to have the pursuing mindset now and keeping it going into college.
Okay, and what about you, Trey? Do you have any plans of playing football in college?
Yeah, I really want to, be able to play Division I football, but, I still take care of my grades just in case football doesn't work out. Still want to get a good education and make something of myself. But gonna do everything I can to hopefully get me some scholarships.
yeah. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the team itself. How would you guys describe the team's bond with each other?
It's way better than it was 2 years ago.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, we were freshmen and like the team just kind of like formed a bunch of cliques. Like, seniors definitely gave us, well, not all, but some gave us that little fear tactic to like kind of keep us away. But now, we kind of get along with everybody, trying to make sure that everybody feels good. Because we know that chemistry is like an important part of this whole thing. So, we just really take pride in just like treating everybody well.
Yeah.
And, getting along with each other.
Yeah, so you wouldn't say you instill fear into the freshmen, would you? Okay. Landon?
I think that our team does have a really strong bond. It's not like in the past. In the past, we've kind of not been as close, but I think our leaders this year and our captains, they kind of step up, and I think we're more comfortable with them as a team, and it really helps the overall team when just some players start to click together.
Yeah. All right. And so how does the team connect outside of the field, and how would you say that kind of helps your bond while playing?
Honestly, I think our team connects extremely well outside the field, and I don't think it's like normal other teams. We're really close off the field, and since we're so comfortable with each other, we communicate better on the field, and we kind of understand each other's play styles and how we like to play, so we take that into consideration. And I'm excited for what the future holds.
Yeah. Were you guys friends with each other before even football?
Yeah, so a bunch of our 25 class grew up together from middle school or elementary school even. So we would play flag football together on teams all the way up to high school. So especially our QB, knowing how he throws and how we run routes, it's extremely important, I think, on the field.
Yeah, especially considering you guys have all been playing together since young.
Yeah.
All right, and that was all for today, folks. We were glad to have you both here today. We enjoyed listening to all of your responses. As for the audience, we're hoping to come out with another episode depending on how far the team makes it during playoffs, so be on the lookout for that. If there's anything that you guys would like to see get covered, don't be afraid to reach out. We would love to cover whatever you guys are interested in. It can be about Briarwoods or something completely unrelated. You guys should definitely check out the Falcon Flyer. It's our school newspaper, and we're constantly writing stories which might interest some of you. We write about all sorts of things, so there's an article for everyone to read. Also, check out the Briarwood Sports Media Club's Instagram, because that's where most of the updates regarding sports will be. Everything that I just mentioned will be linked down below in the description box. Stay tuned for more episodes, but for now, fly high, Falcons!